During an interview on Newsmax this week, Alina Habba kind of had a moment of clarity where she realized that her entire future as a lawyer might be in jeopardy due to the fact that she went all in for Donald Trump. A realization that, by the way, most lawyers that have represented Trump in the past all eventually came to as well. But Habba was asked specifically about the damage to her reputation, and at first she actually seemed confused about the question, like, I don't understand this, and then it hit her. So here is the clip. Take a look at Alina Habba coming to this sudden realization of how badly she screwed up her future. Take a look.
Since you hooked on with the former president and started representing him, your career has skyrocketed. I think Alina Habba is now, it's a household name, really. But you're young in your career. How concerned are you about what this could mean for your reputation down the road?
In terms of what? I think...
Well, there are a lot of attorneys out there that no longer want to represent the former president, right or wrong. I'm not casting judgment, right or wrong, because of the implications it has for their careers. And you've got a bright future, seemingly.
Yes. I have to tell you the truth. I wouldn't do anything differently. I'm so proud of the work that I've done. And any attorney who actually reads transcripts and looks at the rulings that we got before we got into court, evidentiary rulings, things like that, losses that have happened. And we've had wins, many wins, but nobody reports them.
Because they don't exist, Alina, right? Like, you can't be mad at the media for not covering your so-called victories when those victories don't actually exist. Okay? What she is referring to, by the way, in terms of victories, obviously not victories in any of the cases that she's handled. Oh, God knows she lost all of them. What she's talking about is, like, in court, if they have an objection and that objection gets sustained, like, haha, the judge agreed with us, that's a victory. Yeah, those typically don't get reported on because what only matters, the only thing that matters is what happens at the end of the case, right? The final verdict. So, yeah, we're not gonna, run out of ink printing headlines about Alina Habba wins an objection in court. I'm sure you consider that a feather in your cap. The media considers it a big giant yawn because ultimately you still lost time and time and time again. But here's what's interesting. When that host asked her about her reputation, again, at first she's like, whoa, what do you mean? Like, am I in trouble? Is my reputation going down the tubes? And then he mentioned, well, the good lawyers that Trump had, they've all left. They don't want to be associated with him. You kind of stayed on. And her entire demeanor changed at that point. When he went into the second part of the question, after she seemed confused, her demeanor changed. She couldn't look at the camera anymore. She's like looking down. She's trying to think and getting really solemn. And if you were unlucky enough, by the way, to watch the entire interview, everything that happened before that question, she was happy. She was arrogant. She was bubbly. And then suddenly, no, and I can't even look at the camera anymore. And oh God, what have I done with my life? A complete 180 from how she was behaving before that question was asked of her, which is why I say that I do think she came to that realization. I don't think, for some reason, anybody has ever actually pointed that out to her. Because it's not just, by the way, that you decided to go and represent Donald Trump. I guess there could be lawyers that represent Donald Trump that then go on to have, nice, fun, legal careers. But a lot of them end up with criminal charges against them, but that's beside the point. But the thing with Alina is that it's not that you've represented Trump. It's not that you support Trump. It's that we all saw your incompetence play out day by day during the trial. It wouldn't have mattered if it was Donald Trump as your client or just some bozo off the street. If everybody got to see what you were doing in court and how much you didn't understand what you were doing, it wouldn't matter who your client is. That's the problem Alina Habba still has not connected those dots to. It's not because it was Trump, it's because of how bad you are at lawyering. It's because of how many times the judge had to stop you and be like, you're not allowed to do that. You can't ask these questions. You can't introduce new evidence during your closing argument. Basic lawyering 101 that Alina Habba didn't know about. That is what caused the damage to her reputation. So she can ride the Trump train as long as she wants, and she will. She's made millions of dollars from it. But eventually, that train's going to derail. It's not going to be there forever. And when that day finally comes, Alina Habba is going to find it very difficult to find new clients.